Hello everyone, I'm John Dodge, Community Manager of the Enterprise CIO Forum, and today we're going to talk about the Converged Cloud, and my guest is Sourya Biswas, and he is an MBA candidate. He will graduate in May from Notre Dame, and he's been writing about the cloud for a year and a half, and he hopes to be a cloud consultant when he graduates. Welcome, Sourya. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you, John. It's a pleasure.
Today we're going to talk about the Converged Cloud. Tell me, what is the Converged Cloud?
Well, my personal definition of the Converged Cloud would be a hybrid cloud on steroids. There are so many cloud options available to enterprises, public clouds, private clouds, as well as using their own traditional IT infrastructure. So sometimes you need to bring this all together into one common platform. Enterprises want to use horses for different courses.
Mm-hmm.
And they want some uniformity, right? And this is especially because there is a distinct in the world of cloud computing.
Mm-hmm.
And I participated in this chat on Converged Clouds with HP, where someone made this very comment that waiting for cloud standards is like waiting for Godot. Godot as in Samuel Beckett's play, the character which does not come at all.
Godot never shows up.
Exactly. So, if you continue to wait for cloud standards to happen, that may take too long. And that's where Converged Clouds come in by offering seamless integration between these different environments, multiple infrastructures, and offers the end user a lot of flexibility.
So let me ask you this. Is this idea of the Converged Cloud where you have a common framework for management across many clouds and a common user interface for many, many clouds, is it a reality or is it a down-the-road promise?
Well, HP says it's a reality, right? That's what their new offering is all about. At the same time, how closely that reality matches up to client expectations, well, that is something only time can tell. But at the same time, I believe that HP's strong hardware base, which is at the heart of cloud computing today, it has a very good chance of actually delivering what it is promising. Also, the fact that it is based on OpenStack,
mm-hmm.
the support of Rackspace, Red Hat, Cisco, IBM, all big players. This is definitely a plus point.
So, HP talks about this framework where you will have the common interface, common and consistent management. What is this framework, and will allow many different kinds of clouds to be managed under this framework?
Okay, let me give you an analogy. For example, the private cloud is like your summer home, which has a single tenant. You have greater control, but it also implies greater costs. The public cloud would be similar to a hotel with multiple customers, but management is someone else's responsibility, right? But by aggregating responsibility, you also lose a certain amount of control. As a user, you will have completely different ways of interacting too, right? So wouldn't it be easier if you had similar rules, similar experience when interacting with both these businesses?
Mm-hmm.
This is confusing and complex in itself. You don't need to add an additional layer of complexity by going on the cloud.
In your travels, when you go into an enterprise or you talk to a big cloud customer, how many clouds do they have? Do they have a private cloud over here and Amazon Web Services over here, and do those clouds talk to each other?
Yeah, they do have a lot of clouds, but unfortunately they do not talk much with each other. So that's the problem that Converged Clouds can actually solve. If you have different kinds of data in different kinds of clouds with different kinds of security protocols, different kinds of administration, that brings a lot of complexity, and you cannot make optimal use of your resources. Cloud computing has immense possibilities.
So that's all technically speaking, is that you mentioned security and protocols, is that a common layer that sits outside those clouds, but those clouds go through it?
Well, that is what Converged Cloud would be trying to do, right? Otherwise these are pretty disparate. They're different. And of course, you cannot have, for example, a company's best practices. You cannot implement them properly in a public cloud.
Mm-hmm.
In a public cloud that is run by, say, Amazon or Rackspace or Google. But you would ideally like to, right? You would like to have your own industry best practices, your own company expertise to be implemented. And that is what Converged Cloud is promising to do. So it is definitely useful.
How is security implemented in the Converged Cloud? We know security is a top concern of all enterprises with any cloud adoption. How is security implemented across the Converged Cloud?
One idea to implement security would be have a separate layer of abstraction independent of the infrastructure. So it does not depend on the hardware that you're running the cloud on. I mean, it doesn't depend on servers in Amazon. It does not depend on servers in Google, but it depends on your own best practices, your own security protocols. I mean, that's a separate layer of abstraction.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think proper risk management practices, which are being constantly updated, because every time you get a new knowledge about risk, even the subprime mortgage crisis 10 years back, nobody actually realized that's a risk, right? So risk management practices that are being constantly updated, that should also be part of this unified security framework. And there's an idea of how you can implement security on the Converged Cloud.
Well, those are all my questions today, Shoujo. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this Skype interview, and so thank you very much for being on today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really a pleasure, and I hope that HP's Converged Cloud can really solve the problems which have been cropping up for some time.
Well, thanks again. I'm John Dodge, Community Manager of the Enterprise CIO Forum. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.